it's Storm here, bringing you guys another First Descendant video. And today, I want to pose this question right away. So even if you don't make it to the end, please fire off in the comments. What is the number one thing that you would want changed about the First Descendant? Whether it be a system implemented, harder difficulty, make it a little bit easier, are drop rates too hard, are drop rates not hard enough? Is there something that would just take this game from here to like way up here for you? What is that one thing? If there are multiple things, don't feel limited to one. Chat with others in the discussion. Let's just remember to be respectful of every single person in there. I'm gonna have opinions you probably disagree with, and I might have some that you agree with. Let's just talk about it. And so we can hopefully get these notes over to the devs and have them see it and find out, you know, if there's something that they can do after they see this video that could give them an idea that maybe they didn't think of. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about my two favorite things. The number one thing that I think the game really need is a veteran mode. So we already have hard mode, but for the people who are on the end of the spectrum where the game is so easy, it's so easy, we just one-shot everything, nothing is challenging anymore, I want some challenge. That end of the spectrum is on the complete other side of the people who don't want nerfs to the, like, S-tier descendants like a Naz and Serena, even though their balance is a little bit further out. Those are the descendants that help them get through the content, and they kind of need them strong in order to do it. So I understand both sides, and we're all coming from a different place, but in this video, let's talk about how maybe everyone can win. So I think that veteran mode would really allow people to win on both sides, because what I would like to see from a veteran mode is I want there to be rewards, and I want the rewards for doing veteran mode to be more efficient than the hard mode. However, don't lock power behind the veteran mode that players doing the hard mode can't obtain by just spending more time in the game. Even if it takes them longer, they can still eventually get to that power level. I think it'd be great to see, you know, rewards that are like maybe cosmetic, or maybe they have something in the veteran mode that shows like this trophy or something like that. Now that we're having trophies, I think that's a great way to do it, but don't lock any power behind that veteran mode. Just have it be straight up more efficient if you can do it, but not a need for people to do. The next thing I would love to see, my second thing that I would love, is from a consumable standpoint, I want them to have some kind of system that would allow us to break some of these basic materials down to use for, you know, other materials, whether it be, you know, a base material that can then be changed into blue brains or any other part of the energy activator. And you can have a different cost to like blue brains and all the other pieces. So that way, we're able to make those things without doing a ton of farming. Your farming can kind of be done doing whatever you want, and you're not pigeonholed into farming one specific thing. With that being said, when they drop new content, I feel like the reason people say there aren't many systems in the First Descendant, even though there's so many game modes, is because every time a new update comes out, we're always pigeonholed into doing that one event until we're just so sick of it. When we're done with it, we don't want to think about it. Like take Void Vessel, for example. Once you have a Nez Keelan in your dogs, you don't want to go back there. You're done. Like you did it so many times. However, after not being there for a while, you might want to go back, but why would you at this point? Because you grinded so hard in those first few days that you're done with it. So if they did like right now, how the Sigma sector has like a 5% drop rate on the mutant cells, if they did a similar thing across the board where like 400% dungeons, and the other events have different opportunities, like even if it's a much smaller one, like that 2.5%, at least you have a reason to go do that. For example, I would go do a Void Vessel right now if there was a 2.5% chance of getting that mutant cell box, because I'm going to get those materials for the catalyst at the end. So that's something I would do, but I'm not going to go back and do it because I don't get any type of reward for going back there and doing it. So I think that the drop rate for me is actually fine. You can fire off if you disagree, but I'm fine with doing that, especially since you don't need them for your power. It can make it more of a niche playstyle, which I love. I love that so much about the mutant cells. I think the mutant cells raise just enough power, and I love that it wasn't a ton of power creep, but it is helpful, and you can switch up the way that you play your build. I think I want to see more of that. But when it comes out, I don't want to have to just grind Sigma Sector forever and ever and ever, and that's the only place I can get it. Even if it's the best place, I want there to be like other areas where I can do it. Even if they made like on the missions, outer world missions, like when you are farming things like blue brains and stuff, if you had like a 0.1% chance, like almost impossible if it was there, that would be amazing. just so that way you had another chance to get it while you were doing all of those other things. And then with that salvage system, I just love to see it like have the things for veterans that are going to be more expensive cost more. So like blue brains and things like that have those in that system cost a little bit more. So that way we have a little bit more grind for it. But the systems for like maybe buying energy activator pieces, make those a little bit cheaper so that way newer players can get those energy activators on their characters and get them going right away. That way we don't see as much like distribution of like the veteran players versus people just coming in and having that struggle. Like we can all win. It can be challenging and certain things that get them up and off their feet. Let's let that be. Let's let them have that. I think that is a great place to be. A few other changes not related to that I'd love to see. I would love to see on the guns, like I'm not talking about the core rolls, but I'm talking about the first 4 that you get to roll. Give me a spot where I can keep or get rid of the new one, just like they do for the cores, because it sucks like trying to roll perfect stats or really good stats with those when the material's A, expensive, and B, once you get rid of it, you kind of just might roll crap and then it might cost you so much money to just do it. Gold is already pretty limited. I don't think it needs to be that limited. And speaking of gold and Kuiper, near the end game, Kuiper becomes completely useless. Maybe make some of those systems, instead of costing gold at all, make it cost something in Kuiper. That way, we also, at the end game, have a reason to be using our Kuiper, to be farming our Kuiper, and to bring some use to it, to make us feel like while we're farming, our time is respected, and that we're getting something from it. Because, like, just like getting a useless material, I don't care. But then if I'm getting a material that feels like it has use, then I feel good about it. Like, even if I'm not getting as much of it, I love just getting something for it. Another thing is the balance in the game. I would love for them to get more of the Descendants, like, closer to each other. I know people don't love nerfs, but it's easier to bring a Descendant like Serena down here and Jaber up here with everyone else without having to nerf or buff the content too much. So that way everyone can have like an equal playstyle and you get to choose the Descendant that you want. Like Serena doesn't have to be the answer to everything, or Inez doesn't have to be the answer to everything. I personally think Inez is in a great spot because you have to use a lot of her abilities, and she's still the strongest mobber, I think. But that is an opinion. You can agree or disagree with it in the comments as well. I'm happy to hear what you think about that piece of it. And then the last thing is, you know, with the ETO at the end of the weekend or like weekend events, like let's give us more reason to play for like those events and maybe have something special on the weekends, or make the ETO have a little something more, or give us something else to do with those extra pieces that we farmed and just are sitting there. So maybe make the max catalyst you can buy is 5 a weekend, or maybe paint colors, like make them more expensive, but let us pick the colors that we want. Just some thoughts that I have to make the game a little bit better. Fire off in the comments. What is the #1 thing that you would love to see about the First Descendant in Season 3? Let me know, and let's get the discussion going so we can shoot it off to the devs. All right, guys, slay away. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.